All right, everyone. So we got this. I got this book here, and what's important is those lands in the north. See how this map has those lands in the north? These lands. Got this book here from the Reader's Digest, Great World Atlas. Now, this is a first edition. This book is a first edition, and as soon as you open it up, they got this old map, right? And what's interesting is even though it's projected on a globe, it shows the lands in the north. Now, I have found many maps showing these lands made from different cartographers and all from different years. So, this is a Reader's Digest book from 1963. This is a first edition. So, I'll show you that. First edition from Pleasantville, New York. How you doing, JG? How you doing? Pretty good. So we're going to be talking about right now these lands, and I got this old book here. So let me go to the first page where they start, they start talking here. So right to the editors. I'm going to read you the first sentence. This is interesting. Listen to the first sentences. So, paradise is somewhere in the Far East, is the center of all nations, and the world itself is a flat disk surrounded by vast oceans. Whoa. Let me go back to this. Now, I can already tell you paradise in the Far East. Okay. All right. That's not where paradise is. It's a desert. All right. The Far East. No, it's not where it is. Jerusalem is the center of all nations. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, the Israel that's now is a hijacked identity theft Israel, and it's not the true Jews. And the world itself is a flat disk surrounded by vast oceans. Now, this is the part, of course, I want to talk about. And the world itself is a flat disk surrounded by vast oceans. I don't know how well you guys can see that. But I'll try to leave it there if you wanted to pause it. Now, the rest of this. Hi, Will. Good morning. How you doing? Hey, Break the Spell. How you doing? Now, the rest of this goes on to talk about spinning ball Earth and the universe and the globe. But why would, first off, not only is this map showing these lands in the north on the front when you first open it up on the inside of the cover, it's also on the back cover. So they got this map in there twice on the back covers. All right, so it's really important, okay? This map must be really important if it has adorned the front and back cover. All right, and not only that, the first sentence of this book says that the earth is a flat disk surrounded by oceans. This is a Reader's Digest from 1963, first edition. Now, let me tell you the story of how I got this book. This book is only on loan. All right. Somebody loaned this to me because they. So the story of this book. Apparently, this used to be a library book. I was told that the library told the person who gave it to me that it was either they take it for free or they were going to throw it out. So he looked at the book. He opened up and seen this map and knew exactly the importance of this map. And he kept it. And then he brought it over to me and showed me about it. So apparently this book was going to be thrown away. And it's pretty nice. All right, it's a pretty big book. So Break the Spell says, that book looks familiar. Think we had it in our house when I was a kid. Yeah. What's up, Alrez? All right. So what's really important is, first off, it's right there in the first, as soon as you open the book. But in the first sentence, let me read that. I'm going to go to the first sentence right here. I'm going to read the whole sentence again. Paradise is south east. Jerusalem is the center of all nations, and the world itself is a flat disk surrounded by vast oceans. Now, the rest of this goes on to talk about the globe and the ball and space. So the rest of this book goes on to give like modern maps, okay? It goes on to give modern cartography. You know, here's the globe and stuff like that, okay? So I got here, let's pull up Antarctica. And I'll show you the difference of modern cartography versus the 15th century cartography. Because I believe the map I just showed you it could be 1500s. I could be wrong on that. I got to check that. But here we go. The Arctic. So here is a night, let's see here. This book is from 1963. But you see how in the north they show an ocean with nothing? Okay. So this is the Arctic, right? So right there, the Arctic. And there's nothing. They don't show nothing. All right. So, but if you go to the old map written in Latin and you look in the north, you see those lands. Why do all these old maps show these lands in the center? So this is a different map maker. The person who made this map is different than this person. The person who drew this map up, the one that I copied it from, is Gerard. All right. And here's something else that's interesting. This old map shows Australia, part of Antarctica. So I know you guys can't read Latin, but the Latin's so close to English, you should be able to see it. So you see this down here in the bottom corner, all right? That says Terra Australis, which means Australia, the land of Australia, or Earth Australia. All right, so it shows it included. Now, very interesting. I find it very interesting. But for the rest of this book is no good. Now, I mean, if you want to look at the United States, I mean, I don't know. They're already hiding the lands in the north. How much more are they hiding in these maps that they're giving us today? So, like I said, I just showed you the Arctic. And now I'm going to grab my phone. And pull up Google Earth. All right. I'm going to show you guys on Google Earth what the CGI animation has given us. All right. And as I pull this up, guys, as I pull this up, all right, Admiral Byrd gave a testimony that he has been to this land. Okay. Admiral Byrd has testified that he's been there. Now, people say, oh, he's a Freemason and all that other stuff. He may have been, he probably was. But when it comes to, testimony about these lands, I do find the truth in there. All right. So I'm going to pull up Google Earth and I'm going to pull up the Arctic region. So, all right, we got 9 people watching. Come over, hit the like button. All right. Come over to the comment section. So this way I know you guys who's in here. So here's Google Earth, and it's already on the North Pole because I was showing somebody earlier. So this is that's the CGI animation ball Earth. So the same thing they show in ocean, blue ocean. It's a CGI blue. It's not the real ocean. All right, so we're going to zoom down on that. Oh, there we go. There's the pole. So first off, let's talk about this blue. If there's an ice sheet up there, why is there a vast CGI blue if we got satellites? So that should be your first question you should have if you're still a baller. If you're a baller, all right, why is it that's not a satellite image? How come I can't see the ocean here? All right, so you zoom down, and if there's a satellite, why is Google got its name? Did you see that? Did you see the Google logo? The Google. Well, anyway, that's not. How come I can't zoom down on the ocean here? So that's what I'm seeing is pixelated bullshit. But let's go over by let's go over by Greenland. Let's go by the coast of Greenland here. CGI, 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 CGI. Oh, there. Now, let's see here. I'm trying to pull down on the coast so you can see the coast and the land. Okay, now it won't. Okay, here's Greenland, and it won't let you do it. This part of Greenland, and then you got the fake ocean here. So this is the coast of Greenland here, and they got the fake ocean. All right, that's that CGI blue. And if you can see in the fine print, it's hard to make out, but it says Google 2020 right there. So we're blocking all this out as if this is real satellite imaging. So let's go down to Antarctica. Let's go down here. So this is what they show for Antarctica, right? At the bottom of our blue marble, right? So let's zoom down on this. Oh, look, looks like we can see a feature. The mountains. Okay, you can zoom down on some mountains. It's still pixelated. It doesn't look real yet. And it's not coming in clear. It looks real, actually. Like, this is the clearest it gets. That's the best you're going to get. Any more down, it doesn't clear in. So why does it do that? If this is a satellite image, so let's go right to the South Pole, right in the middle of Antarctica. Nothing but a CGI white. It doesn't show anything but a CGI white. All right, it doesn't show nothing. All right. It's all fake. Here's a good one. if this is supposed to be a set image, they're Lake Ontario, and there's Watertown. How come Lake Ontario is a fake Lake Ontario? How come it's not real? How come it's fake, people? So mainly, listen, I understand there's flat earthers on my channel. You already know about these lands. You already know about the CGI and all that stuff. I understand. All right, so Break Spell says the map they show us of Antarctica is the shape of a similar to the Vinci creation painting. Yeah, so that's a good point. Break the Spell just brought up that Antarctica is in the shape of our brain, and the peninsula is like our spinal, like the brain stem. All right, so yeah, I've heard that brain theory. Of course, when it comes to map making, all right, you can put a map onto anything. All right, you can how it is on a flat plane. You can put it on a ball. You can put it on a triangle. You can put a map on a cube. All right, you can put a map on a rhombus sphere or whatever shape you want to make. You can project a map onto it. And that's what people get confused about because they say, oh, well, like for military stuff, because I had some people in the military talk to me about this in the Army, talking about how their map projections are on a globe. Listen, you can project a map onto any type of surface and still navigate from it. All right. All right. You can. All right. I could put it on this and, oh, the Earth must be this shape because I navigated from here to here according to this. No. All right. So Rick Spell says in Orwell's 1984, the Ministry of Truth changed countries appear on a map. Yeah, I mean, that's very important. I mean, if you haven't already, read the book 1984. There is a movie, and I believe it's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. 1984 is very important. He basically told us what's happening. All right. And it's pretty disturbing that he did this in the 1950s and he was projecting at 34 years out in the future, right? Right. He's projecting at 34 years out in the future because he wrote it in 1950. But it's very interesting, but it's definitely truth in plain sight with everything. But I tell you what, this being a first edition is pretty cool. I examined this book last night when I got it, and I was surprised to see New York connections. So there's a lot of New York stuff here. But like I said, you got one sentence telling you the Earth is a flat disk surrounded by oceans. And then the rest of this is all about the spinning ball and the space universe and all that and the modern cartography. I was really reading that they ever had a section on old maps. Like I was really hoping they would have that, but they don't. So what they did to put it out there is they put this old map showing those lands in the north on the front cover. So see those lands in the north, all right, representing these lands here. All right, so that's what's important. What's up, Marve? Look for the 460-year-old world map image. I like that one. Yep. So I just thought it was very interesting, this book. Now, I'm really disappointed in this book though, because I was really hoping that besides the cover and back cover, there would be older maps in it. doesn't have it. So I have been over to the library before, and I already have a video on it. It's like a last year's video, but I got a book from the library that had actually two books now, but I have found, I think, like three or four different cartographers who show these lands. And these are the four rivers. All right. These are the four rivers that the Bible mentioned. All right. Okay. And now you see, this is the midst of the earth. This is the middle of all things. And God's word said that he planted a garden eastward in Eden. So if this is the center, this would be eastward. There's a reason why these lands are hidden from us. All right? They absolutely 100% exist. First off, God's word says so. God's word talks about these rivers. All right? A lot of people think that the four rivers are talking about over here. No, it's all been identity stolen. Identity theft has happened. They rename rivers, they rename cities, towns, lands. Okay? I'll tell you what, I wish I could read Latin. I try to use the Google Translator where you can translate from Latin to English. And for some reason, every time I would write the Latin, it would think I was writing English, and then it would translate it to Spanish. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Why can't I translate this map? Right? So I go to another website, another website that's got a Latin to English translator. I type in the Latin, and then it switches itself automatically to English, and it translates to Spanish. And it's not making no sense. And I'm like, why can't I just translate this Latin into English? So Marve says, do you believe in MU? What's that? Can you explain MU? What is mu? I might know what you're about, but maybe not. Yeah, Marve. So if you can just tell me what that is. May not know nothing about it. It says in motherland, now mainly islands like Hawaii and Haiti. Okay, we're probably talking about the same type of lands. Now, I did find one map. I would like to do a video on it. Maybe I think I already did. But one of the maps that I found, like when I find maps that show these lands, I've always found four lands there, divided by the river. So these are rivers. These are those great mighty rivers. That's what causes our tides, the reversal of these rivers. Right? I've heard that two go in and two come out. And I've heard that they reverse course. And that's what causes our tide. So there's like a big drain here. So this water comes in and out underneath this mountain, proceeds from the throne of God, because God's throne's right above this. So, this is what I was going to say. The one I found one map, one out of 7 of these lands, of these old maps. I found they showed 3. They showed 3 of these lands. And I think this was this one. I believe this is the one that wasn't on here, on that map that I seen. So that was pretty interesting, that there was 3 lands instead of 4, because most of the ones I find with old maps, they show 4 lands. Well, anyway, guys, I just wanted to, bring this to you guys' attention. A very interesting book from 1963, which is important because you got to think this is pre-moon landing, but it's after 1959 where they started doing the NASA stuff. So if you can find old maps and atlases or geography books that were 50s or before, that's going to be good information. All right. That's going to be good. Now, I can almost bet that this is the first edition, right? So I bet you there's a lot that has been changed if they did a second edition, if they ever did a second edition. But having a first edition is pretty cool. But this is already, look, they put a globe on the front. All right. So they're already have been pushing the global shit. But what did they do? They put this map in here for a reason. And the most important part of this map is in the north. These lands in the north is the most important part of this map. And then on top of that, the first sentence tells you that Earth is a flat disk surrounded by vast oceans. But the whole rest of the book is about the spinning ball and the space and all that crap. So yeah, I've heard of this land. Now, old maps don't show this. Actually, this map might show this. So he says, on old maps next to Iceland, there was a other island called Friesland next to Greenland. So let me look again. Let me see on here that island that you're talking about. But yes, I have heard this island, and then it shows up on maps before, and then it's not on maps. I mean, this one's written in Latin. So, oh, here it is, Friesland. Here it would be. It's spelled Friland. So for Friesland. So this is in the this is in Latin. And right there by my finger is where and I don't have it on this map. This island that I hear is Slavabad. I think that's how I pronounced it. Slavabad. That's that island. Well, maybe it is. Hold on. Let me look at this map again. One of these islands could represent this land. So this is a 1593. It would be, from what I'm looking at, the islands are different shaped, but it could be one of these lands here. Slavbard, yeah, or whatever it is. So this is the island that bird flew from to go north. Yeah, so what's important is that these old maps are showing lands that modern cartography leaves out. That's pretty important. And I just showed you this with Google Earth that that's what they're doing. Because if you got a satellite image, if there's really a satellite up there, right? Why is the oceans and the land masses CGI blue or CGI white, and you can't zoom down on it? Come on now. And it says, or they downsize it and cover it with imaginary snow. Yeah. So let's go to some other stuff they got in here. It's all the rest of this is bullshit. Here's the Antarctic. So here's a fake map. This is a fake map of Antarctica. See, it looks like a brain, and there's the brain stem. All right. So let's talk about some interesting stuff that's written on this map. So the names of the land here, we got one Marie Birdland, which is Admiral Byrd's. I don't know if it was his wife, but it was one of Byrd's or daughter. So it's one of the two. Marie Birdland. I was looking for the Rothschild Mountains or whatever they're called, or the what's his name there? Well, this map of Antarctica is so deceiving because basically they got Antarctica inside. Art is all not real. So all this interior is a real place because it's a circle outside. All right. So when Captain Cook and Admiral Byrd sailed around the edge of Antarctica, they both claimed 60,000 miles. Whoa, what? That doesn't make sense on a ball Earth, right? If you're on a ball Earth, circumnavigating Antarctica should not take you 60,000 miles. But why did it take them 4 years? Both of them, 4 years. So, like, this whole thing is crazy. Like, this map is no good. It's just there to get you to believe that ball Earth. Yeah, so we got people talking about the moon now. There's pictures of there's not they're not even pictures of their moon. They're artist renditions of the moon. You know, like here's some good CGI 1963 drawings of how satellites go around the Earth. So there's your satellite back then. All right. So they're going to explain the flight path of an orbiting satellite. All right. There's your little ball Earth there. All right. And here, people thinking that craters on the moon are impacts from meteors are not true. I'm telling you guys that the reason why there's craters are in the moon is because people have literally shot the moon. Kings and countries throughout the years have shot the moon, literally with rockets and stuff. That's why fireworks and all that's a thing. Those are scar marks in the moon. The moon has been hit several times of plasma. All right, everybody? The moon's a plasma. If you don't know this already, you need to look into this, what I'm telling you. But the moon is made out of plasma, and it's a disk, and apparently you can pass through it. But when you do, it disrupts it. That's where all those, I guarantee the moon used to be way brighter than it is now. I guarantee it. Guarantee it that it's lost at least a third of its light. A third of its light is gone because it's been hit so many times. And it's not from meteors. The moon is just right above the Earth. You can hit it if you have a rocket or whatever, or an aircraft. You could literally fly into the moon with an aircraft. And that's what's going on with all these crater holes. So here's a drawing of the moon from 1963. Before they supposedly landed there. All right. I'm trying to tell you about this creator and that bunch of bullshit. Yeah, so that's a good point. All those little meteors hit the little moon, but missed the bigger. I'm telling you right now that the reason the moon has craters is because kings of the earth have shot them. Yep. That's why there's holes in the moon. No, the moon's got to be made out of cheese because of all the holes in it. Swiss cheese. No, it's plasma. They're trying to destroy God's creation. They're trying to destroy God's creation. Yeah. JG. Yeah. So Mars says, I can call it fact that there are times that maybe the moon's not full, but from both sides of the equator, she was visible on a path higher than the sun, and still people claim the sun is farther. The full moon proves it's not a sphere because it's uniformly lit in the center out to the edges. Now here's some interesting things that I was showing people because I take my telescope outside sometimes at nighttime when the moon's out, and I was letting people go by and check the moon out. And while the moon was in like a crescent phase, as it was waning, it was No, it was waxing at the time. It was waxing, but it was still in crescent. At the bottom of the moon, you can see a little piece of the moon that looked like it was floating off in space by itself. So if the moon is solid, why is there one little piece hanging off all by itself? All right. It's not. Like, we've been lied to. We can see through the moon. All right. In the daytime, you can see the blue right through the moon. And then at nighttime, you can see the black right through the moon. And when the moon passes in between a star, you can see the star right through the moon. And on it, there are videos showing stars right behind the moon when you shouldn't have, if it's a solid rock through a solid rock. First off, how can a solid rock emit that much light? You guys ever see how much light is being reflected off that? How come that doesn't happen in the desert? How come light energy doesn't, when the sun hits the desert sand or the dust and all them places, why doesn't that illuminate? It doesn't, does it? It also reflects it. No. The sun is its own, or the moon is its own luminary. The sun that has nothing to do with reflecting the sunlight. Now, I will look into the fact that there must be a relationship between the sun and the moon for its phases. Like, its phases are directly like on a full moon. The sun and moon are like completely opposite of each other. But the closer the moon gets to the sun, the more in crescent it goes. And then when a new moon comes, the moon is no longer there to see. So what about the cold light from the moon? I have yet to go out with a thermometer and a clear night and test for myself. So this is testable evidence. Moonlight produces a cooler light. So when you are in sunlight, whether it's being reflected or not, sunlight is warmer in direct sunlight than in shade. So on a day like today, where it's nice and sunny, it's cooler when you're in the shade. It's the complete opposite with the moon. When you are in direct moonlight, it is cooler than if you were to go in the shade. So if you're in the shade of the moon, you're behind a tree at night on a full moon and you're in the shade. In the shade, it will be warmer. If you walked into the moonlight, it would be cooler. All right. And you can test this with the thermometer. All right. This is testable evidence. All right. And plus, not only that, the light that the moon is given is a totally different length than the light that the sun gives. I mean, like, that's day one science stuff. That's easy testable evidence. The moon produces her own light. Yeah, I've tried to follow the moon, but 11 it dissolves in the distance. Yeah. The moon's a funny thing. I love watching the moon. It's weird how it just pops up, then it's gone, and then you don't see it for a while, and it comes back, and it's phases. I love the moon. You know, the moon itself should give evidence. I got all these flies everywhere driving me nuts. To land on those, please land on that instead of me. So, everybody, I hope this was education, guys. If any of my subscribers, anybody I know, has got any old books, like old cartography, old atlases, old stuff, I like the older the better. All right. When it comes to the maps, now it could be a modern book that has old maps in it too. As long as it has old maps, I love them. I would love to examine it. And it was really nice of the person to let me examine this book. And I'll be honest with you. A quick overview of this book. You got the North lands in the North. Then the first sentence tells you that Earth is a flat disk. Other than that, this book is rubbish. I'm telling you right now. Other than the cover page and that first sentence, the rest of this book is garbage. All right, but it's pretty interesting. They put it out there first, and then they go into the lie. Says, I'm going to go see what I can find at Mother's. All right, good idea. Yeah, absolutely. So I would like to go to the library. Today's Sunday, right? So that means they're open. I think they open at noon today. Being Sunday, I think they open at noon. And I would like to go back down there and try to find some more books. But examined what they have several times. I mean, hopefully I can find something new. The TV, so Friend's dad filmed everything, has reel-to-reel of moon landing. Yeah. Yeah, the moon landing was a television event. You know, television programming. That's why I don't know they fake those. So everybody, thanks for coming by. Hey, everybody in the comment section coming by, sharing what you had to say. Appreciate it. If you like and subscribe to my channel. Over 70 of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. Come on! I need to have that. I'm trying to get to 1,000, so I need you guys to subscribe. Yeah, I would love to see the original footage. Yeah, I would like to know what they watched, the exact thing they watched, or people's reaction from a home video camera as watching the TV. It'd be cool to watch. But knowing what we know, it's evil. It's absolute evil that our government is this evil and keep lying to us. And not only that, it's worse than lies. They're killing us. So John asked, so are the moon and planets fake? Now, let me tell you about the moon. The moon is not fake, okay? The moon is a plasma disk that illuminates by itself. It has its own light, all right? It produces its own light. The planets that you think are planets are not planets. They are stars. So when you look up into the sky and you see that bright red one that everybody calls Mars, that's just a star. And the reason why it's called a planet is because it wanders, not all the other stars directly around the North Star, except for 6 of them. 6 of these are planets, all right? Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and then there's 6 of them, right? Uranus or whatever. Is the moon flat? Yeah. The moon it's a round disk that's made out of plasma. All right, John? So anyway, these planets that are planets, they're not planets. They are stars. And the reason why they have the planet designation is because they're wander. Sometimes they retrograde, which means sometimes they move backwards. And then sometimes they go a little this way and a little up and a little down. Okay? They're not like all the rest of the stars that move around the North Star. Okay? So planets, stars. All stars produce their own light. And they're not burning balls of hydrogen billions and billions of light years away. The sun, moon, and stars are all contained within the firmament. All right? The stars are in the firmament, and the sun and moon are underneath the firmament. I don't know what that is. It says, what do you think about Try MP6? I don't know what that is. The moon is a projected image. Well, I've heard that projection thing. Sure, somehow, some way, but it's not no spinning ball. I've heard the hologram stuff, and like the sun is actually a reflect. I've heard different stuff like that. What do you think about Trump? I think he's a liar. I think he's a deceiver, and he does not have the truth invested in what he's doing. So yes, am I a registered Republican, and I will never vote for Trump because first off, why would he give all this money to NASA? And then second of all, he created the Space Force. Yeah, granted, Trump might be telling people about fake news. Oh, fake news, and there's a fake news over here and a fake news over here. All right, but he's using a little bit of the truth to disguise all the bullshit that he's getting into. The American people just got robbed of $1 trillion for the creation of a fake Space Force that has no need. And it's all going to go to Trump's buddies. And I'm sure it's going to siphon back to him now, too. So look at all these solar farms with mirrors, thousands of mirrors reflecting sunlight in one spot and creating a sunspot visible from a plane. Yeah, I've seen them focus mirrors to boil water, like a big solar farm in California where they face all the mirrors at one point and it boils water and it powers everything. I've seen that. Tried to show some friend CV truth, and he just emailed. I don't believe any of this shit. So yeah, I only picked being a Republican because they don't believe in abortions and they believe for traditional marriage. All right, so that's the only reason why I picked the Republican Party. And people say, "Oh, welcome to politics." Listen, I never got into politics before in my life until almost a year ago. A little more than a year ago, I started getting the internet because I was like, wait a second, why is anybody trying to fix this? Why is anybody trying to do something about this? All right. So that's when I started getting politically involved. But no, Trump's no good like all right. All right. He might listen, he'll come out there and tell you about all these news outlets with the fake news stories. Great. He'll come out and tell you all this dirt and evil stuff that's going on. Great. But he just stole trillions and trillions of dollars to make a fake Space Force and gave money to NASA and all these space companies for bullshit. So that's why Trump is no good. And it doesn't matter Biden either. It doesn't matter who gets there. You know, we got Biden running. And what was the big thing that's been going on for the last couple of years? All these videos going around about creepy Joe Biden touching kids and all this other stuff. And then you get this crazy Kamala Harris out of California. Geez, it doesn't matter who it is. What I think is important is the local level. All right. I believe like the mayor, our representatives, our senators, even our governor, but even our governor is a piece of shit. But I believe in like the local government. We have no power when it comes to the federal government. Zero, none. It's left to the electors. And unless you're an elector, unless you are a elector for your state, like New York has 29. All right. 29 electors. Unless you're one of those 29, your vote doesn't count. I don't care what you say or whatever you say about that presidential race. If you are not the elector state, your vote for the president does not count. It's left up to the electors. And the electors are already bought and paid for well before, all right? The electors are already paid for. Because that's how you got to have 270 electoral votes. Yeah. Like I believe in the local election. So like city council and mayor and like our sheriff and like that stuff. Like I believe in the local level. Now could that be naive of me too? Could that be really naive of me? And this guy's an idiot. He believes that he can make it local level. I hope not. And I hope that's not naive of me, I don't know what that is. Hashtag, 4 hashtags. I don't know what that means. Your opinions on hashtags. Well, back in my day, it used to be tic-tac-toe. And then it used to be the pound sign. We used to call it the pound. Area. Area 5. Yeah, like I don't think I'd get involved in the presidential election, but definitely when it comes to my city council and my mayor, I will be involving myself in the future. Absolutely. I don't know. Area 51. Well, anyway, everybody, thanks for coming by. We had quite a few people come in the chat. That's pretty cool. So John says, are you going to run for mayor? I don't know if I'm going to run for mayor, but I did announce that I plan on running for a city council seat. So next year, I do plan on running for city council. So next year, I would need to get 200 signatures petition, and I guess that's when they can put me on the ballot. I don't really know. I'm new to this, but I thought that a city council seat would be entry level. Listen, I'm not going to try to run for mayor right now. All right. But I do feel like I should at least run for a city council seat because I believe that I do have a good chance of winning that race. Now, here's something else I've been pondering. Listen, this is crazy, right? I'm a felon, right? Can't own a gun. But you know what? I've been thinking of running for Jefferson County Sheriff. I have thought about it, but I'm new to all this politics and all this stuff. I'm 36, all right? So I thought a city council run would be good. So John says, why are you yelling? I lit my ex-wife's boyfriend's truck on fire. So my ex-wife who cheated on me, I went and lit the guy's truck on fire. So don't mess with me, people. Do not mess with me. That was a long time ago. I'm all done with that now. It was back 7 years ago. Will says, Sheriff, interesting. Yeah. I'm serious. Like, I have been contemplating running for sheriff because that's an elective. Now, I got to do a lot more work in the city. All right. Because right now, if I had polls, if I had a polling thing like all these other polls, I don't know. I think I would probably wouldn't be doing so good right now because I've had a lot of backlash by local media and the mayor and all their statements against me. So I probably wouldn't poll so good. Who knows? But I have thought about running for Jefferson County Sheriff. I have thought about that. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Well, anyway, everybody, we can talk about my political ideas that I got going. But how long were you in prison? So John wants to know how long I was in prison. I didn't go to prison. I did not go to prison. It was my first time going to jail. And the judge looked at the situation, determined that because I didn't have a criminal record, that I did 4 months. So I did 4 months in county jail, and I did 4 years on probation. So I got lucky. The judge didn't send me to prison. He told me if I got in any trouble, he would. So he told me he would send me to prison if I got into any trouble, which I didn't. But he looked at the situation and he determined that I only needed to go to jail for 4 months. And then I spent the next 4 years. Once I got out, I spent 4 years on probation. And I've been off probation for at least 3 years. So, like I said, that happened back in 2013. So that was 7 years ago. So I got very lucky that I didn't go to prison, just jail. So anyway, I know there's a lot of people that don't know why I'm a felon, but now you know. Don't mess with me. All right. God bless you guys, and look forward to my next video. It could go live again. We got city council meeting on Monday or tomorrow night at 7. So at least look forward to that video. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming by.